Today, it was 3 in the morning. The Olympics have announced the Olympics esports series. And there's a page for it on their website. I want to talk about this first. It's scheduled for June of this year, June 22nd, which is in like 3 months. So nobody has any room to plan for this ahead of time. Like you look at other esports and you plan these events out like way in advance. Like EVO is an annual event, and you know like the you know when the EVO is going to be, when EVO ends, and you get the full confirmed date like 7 months beforehand. Like we know for sure now when EVO got revealed, or when EVO is this year, and we know we knew what EVO last year, when EVO Japan would be, which is like coming up soon. But you just dump this, and you're like, join us in Singapore, June 22nd of 2023, for the Olympic Esports Week. No warning. So like anyone who would want to has a month maybe to lab this out for any of these games. And that's given that you could even lab these. Because you look at what these games are. You have chess.com and Just Dance. Dance is an invitation-only event for the best Just Dancers from all over the world. To understand how to follow the dance competition, sign up here on Olympics.com. Stay updated on when competitions start, latest news, highlights, and more. So okay, one of the 9 main events at your show is an invitational only. It's an invitational of just fucking dance. You have to think, so many people have to, like, be involved in a project for it to happen. And not a single one of them had any doubts that this would be a good idea. Not one of them were like, hey, this is kind of stupid. This is kind of dumb.
Yeah, can you go back to the cycling, please? I just want to point out cycling.
You go to the cycling page, and it says how to follow. Get ready for unforgettable entertainment. To learn how to watch cycling in the Olympic Esports Series, please keep an eye on this page. Or you can sign up here on Olympics.com to stay updated on when competitions start, latest news, highlights, and more. In the meantime, if you'd like to try a ride on Swift yourself, check it out on www.swift.com. And you go to this website, and boom, it's an
exercise bike. That's not a video game.
It's not a video game. There are real bikes in the real world. I could be doing this.
You already have a track and you have everything set up just to do a cycling competition, and it takes the same amount of effort too. It's not like a video game where, like, if you're physically incapable of doing something, you can do it in a video game. This is just the same thing. This is literally the same exact thing.
Like, it's the same exact thing, but it's going to be worse. Like, imagine, like, we design esports to be good for players and spectators. Can you imagine, like, paying, like, $1,000 just, like, on the flight and the tickets? And you have to pay like a couple thousand more on hotels. You go out to Singapore, and you go into the stadium, and you're watching professional Swift, where it's just 2 people on exercise bikes for like 3 hours.
This reminds me of like a bunch of metaverse shit, where they promote how you can do all these things, but the stuff they actively like make you do, or like they actively promote or whatever, is like fucking, you can recreate your home office in VR.
And just actually, this is a good time to bring this up. This is a good time to bring this up right now, actually, with WBSC Power Pros. Because you remember a couple years ago, back in 2020, when Sega made a little game called fucking Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, outside of the Mario and Sonic one, they literally have Sega on their payroll to make Olympic video games for them anytime the Olympics come out. And they just didn't use that connection. They, like, because I get if you don't want to fucking do like actual video games, you want to do sports themed video games, that sucks, but whatever. But you literally have a professionally made game by a huge studio that you could be using for this event, and you just don't, in favor of fucking
WBSC Baseball Power Pros.
Yeah, there's like fucking mobile games and this. Like, what? You could just have a chessboard. Like, they have fucking items in chess.com that makes the experience different. You could just do a chess tournament.
It's literally more expensive to have chess.com, because you have to pay for, like, you have to pay for computers that look nice and look pretty to be on stage, when you could just buy a chessboard for, like, $30 and like a timer for 20. And that's all you need to play chess. But now you're forking over like 1K, like over $1,000 for chess.com on Singapore stage. So many of these miss like the point that you're trying to make these fun for spectators, because chess is a good spectator game if you're in the mood for chess. You can see both players, you can see the board is shown like on screen or wherever you're watching it. You can see chess. But with chess.com, you just see two blokes on computers, and then maybe it's like blown up on the screen behind them. You don't get the actual like 3D space that's like important to what chess is. You don't get any of that, and that's so dumb. People aren't going to like pay money to go watch that.
Virtual Taekwondo like isn't even a video game that exists right now, from what I can tell. Virtual Taekwondo, it's like a training program.
So in half of these virtual sports, you just have to actually be doing the sport anyway?
This one's another mobile game. The sailing game is also another mobile game. Why are all of these mobile games that are free to play on your phone?
You know, it's crazy, like, literally, like, you just talk to anybody who knows anything about video games, even the most basic understanding, and they'll tell you that it's a bad idea. Have one of these guys fucking, like, talk to their son once, and ask them if they think that this is a good idea. You know, you like video games? Like, how do you feel about, you know, fucking tic-tac-toe at an Olympic stage? And anyone will tell you that that's an awful idea. Dude, even fucking, like, American Dad and Family Guy and The Simpsons did an episode about League of Legends and Overwatch and shit. Like, these are, like, well-known video games at this point. That is what esports are, even to the general public.
It's so baffling. Olympic esports is such a, like, genius idea. Like, there's so many different layers to what esports are. You could have so much going on. You could have such a diverse pool of games. You could have Street Fighter 6 is coming out. You could have that for fighting games. You could have the League representing MOBAs. You could have XCOM has an esports community, doesn't it? That could be fun. You could have Siege or CS:GO. You could have all of these games, and you chose WBSC Power Pros, Baseball Power Pros for Nintendo Switch. Like, there are tons of like consumer-friendly options you can take. Like, Rocket League is universally understood. It's still themed relative to real-life sports. It's free to play. It is online multiplayer. It has tons of resources. And it would be like universally understood by people who aren't into esports. And it's also just a fun spectator game. It's fun for people to go and watch Rocket League. But then it's not here. There's no Rocket League. It's so peculiar. Like, every layer of this is just a bunch of completely ignorant people who have no idea what they're doing. Not a single aspect of this is good in any way, or like well done, or anything. There's no substance to any of this at all. Who's going on stage? Who's gonna go on stage and play tic-tac-toe for the iOS App Store? There's 100 days. They have 100 days until the big event. They have 100 days to decide if they don't want to do this or to fix it, which they won't do either. They're going to go all in on it, and it's going to fail really bad. And then the Olympics will say, oh, esports just aren't worth it. No one wants to see esports. And they won't invest in this idea again until 20 years from now, where it blows up again, and they see trends going up again, and they try it again. And that's all this is going to be.
I just looked up esports on Google, and it's none of these games are here. That's crazy. No tic-tac-toe, like, it's not even Gran Turismo is there, no Just Dance. Like, esports.com doesn't even list any of these games. That's crazy. Like, just look up an article about what esports is. It will tell you that this is not that.